Hello again, everybody. Welcome to the Mike Francesa podcast, part of the Bet Rivers Network. And we come to you on what is, of course, an enormously busy weekend with Wild Card Weekend, all the college football, everything else. And remember, from now until January 15th, Bet Rivers is giving you a $10 bonus bet to use on any plus money parlay or bet. Enter the bonus code Francesa26 in your Bet Rivers app, and you'll instantly get $10 to use on a wager plus that is plus 100 or longer odds. That code again is Francesa26, Francesa26. Go to your Bet Rivers app and claim your bonus bet before January 15th. Must be 21. Eligible customers only. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. We welcome in on this very busy football weekend the very versatile Charles Davis from CBS Sports. Also from Madden, also, he's been everywhere, former Tennessee deep back for those of you old enough to remember. Charles, welcome. How are you? Happy New Year. I hope you're doing well.
Same to you, Mike. Same to everyone out there listening and watching us right now, and doing well, and trust the same for you and everyone else.
Like America, I was rooting. I hadn't seen Ole Miss a lot this year, and the quarterback is a tremendous college player. I mean, I don't think he's big enough to be a pro, but he's a great college player. And we knew they weren't a great defensive team, but boy, I thought the coaching staff, the defensive coordinator did a great job keeping that team mentally in tune in the last couple of weeks, and all the distractions and everything that went on. And then last night, I was so upset because I thought he had two ways to go at it.
Yeah.
The one thing he couldn't do was have them score a touchdown and give his quarterback no time. He had 3 timeouts. He had over 3 minutes on the clock. Blitz him. Make them make plays downfield. If they score, give your quarterback 2 minutes. He'll beat them anyway. Just don't let it be where they score with 20 seconds left. And what do? They score with 18 seconds left. It just annoyed the heck out of me, because I think if they had given that quarterback 2 minutes, he would have scored a touchdown.
Well, a couple things come to mind immediately. Number one, Pete Golding, who we're talking about, who took over as the head coach, former defensive coordinator. That's his 3rd game as a head coach.
Right.
So sometimes that comes into play.
No question. And he had a limited staff. A
whole bunch of things that just kind of went, which you were advocating, which is the right strategy.
He didn't blitz.
So this is what I call black flag defense.
Yep.
Black flag meaning we plant the black flag. We're either going to make a play or you're going to make a play. All right.
That's it. That's it. And if they kick a long field goal, fine. And then, but don't leave the kid with no weapons. Don't leave him with no time. And he left him with 18 seconds, and he almost got down there anyway.
It's amazing. That 18 seconds, did it feel like Buffalo, Kansas City, 13 seconds in a sense?
Yes.
Right?
And when Cristobal got hugged by his assistant, he was furious. He was like, "Stay away from me. We got to play this kid. We got to play this kid a couple more plays. He might put it in the end zone." And darned if he almost did. But one thing people have to realize: you're not getting a flag on a Hail Mary. That's all there is to it.
Not going to happen. But what assistant doesn't know at that situation, the head coach?
What are you, crazy? He's lucky he didn't get decked.
Do it.
Right.
People, like upset at Mario Cristobal. I said, if you've worked
no way. If you had gone near some of the coaches I know, they would have knocked you out.
Right? And you don't know this, but I will say the last thing about Ole Miss is you entered into it, Mike. Here's why I think that people really grasped onto the story and really liked them more. It didn't turn into it's almost become stereotypical, and I hate to say it because we're going to use it for now and evermore. Us against the world.
Right.
When adversity kicks in.
Yep.
But you didn't really hear that from Ole Miss. You didn't hear as much us against the world as, hey, we realized maybe we're the reason this is happening.
Yeah, we can win. We can win. And last night, even though they got pushed around the whole game, and that line and that offensive line pushed them all over the field. We know that.
Yes.
And they couldn't, and they missed a million tackles. We know that too. But all I wanted them to do was, hey, make them be aggressive. Let him throw it and beat you over the back, or let him throw a pick, or let him make a mistake. They had him 3rd and 10 twice. I mean, it drove me crazy because I wanted Ole Miss to have a chance. I wanted the kids to at least have 2 minutes and a chance to win it. And I really believe in my heart he would have put the ball in the end zone. I really think he is. I can't believe how special a player he is. He's a wonderful football player. He really is.
He's a college football story for the ages.
He really is.
Another one of those that makes college football what it is.
Yep.
when you sit around and say, and you tell someone from Ferris State to back up at Ole Miss to the guy at Ole Miss, and if he gets another year in college, he'll be one of the leading Heisman.
I hope he does. I know he'll be a Heisman favorite, and I hope they give him a year because college football can use him. He's a big star, and he seems like a really good kid too.
Seems like a great kid. And the last thing I'll get on this is having talked to people when he came out of high school. You know, there's always that. How'd you miss on this kid? How come this kid? The people I talked to said, no, he really wasn't ready for that level yet, but he developed. So when people think about divisions below the Power Five, there's a lot of really good coaching and development going on in 1AA, 2, 3, and these kids maybe can rise up and become better players later. And that's part of where the issue is now with NIL. Is at lower level, you develop a kid, but you can't keep him.
But look at Cignetti. He leaves Alabama to go to, where his father used to coach, right? I knew Frank Cignetti. I go back that far. So the bottom line is he learns there. He wants to run his own shop. He wins big. He goes to James Madison. He wins big. He brings 13 guys in the portal to become his basis. He cherry picks who he wants, including Mendoza. He has understood the portal better than anybody else. He has recruited the portal better than anybody else. And he happens to be a great coach. I mean, he was a real secret, but he's a great, great coach. I don't think there's any question about it. And they'll be fascinating to watch because Oregon's got legitimate championship talent. We know that. Now, last week, Texas Tech handed Oregon about 50 plays where they could have scored touchdowns, and they couldn't get in the end zone against that Texas Tech defense. That worries me. I think Indiana wins. I think Indiana probably wins the whole thing. I'll be fascinated to watch. But these are good storylines. They really are. Last night the Ole Miss thing was great. And this playoff needed it because, let's be honest, the playoffs in the past has been terrible the last couple of years.
It's been fantastic. And we went from beginning with, should we have James Madison in this thing, right? Should we have those schools involved, to, wow, we've got 4 schools involved that haven't been on the scene lately. Miami's last championship was 2001. Oregon since Mariota in terms of being in the championship game. All of that all coming into play. And then when you say Indiana and Ole Miss,
give me a
break.
My
goodness. By the way, all of them good enough to win it all. That was part of it.
Having a foursome like this and not having the monsters, not having Ohio State, not having Michigan, not having Alabama, not having Georgia, it's a big deal. There's no question with these teams. And having, if anyone understands Indiana, this is like insane to have Indiana playing football on this. First, to do what they did in the Big Ten, but Indiana winning like this in Bloomington, anyone who knows, who's been to Bloomington, and I've been there 100 times, it's as big a basketball school as there is. The kids grow up with a basketball in their bassinet. You know that. It's basketball country. Yeah.
And when they're born at the hospital, they put a butt basketball in with the boys and girls. Look, I used to do Big Ten Network. I was one of the first people. In fact, I was on the first show that ever came on air with Tom Brenneman and Carissa Thompson, Appalachian State, Michigan. That's how Big Ten Network came on air. At one point, we were doing an Indiana at home versus Illinois game. And Illinois was coming off the Rose Bowl. Rashad Hall. Indiana was still pretty decent under Billy Lynch, who had taken over after the tragic loss of the head coach, after Coach Hepner had passed away. We had a good game in the third quarter, Mike. And I looked up from my booth and I saw hordes of people leaving the stadium. And from our booth, you've been in that stadium, you can see to Assembly Hall. And you notice everyone was walking to Assembly Hall. And I was like, so I finally grabbed an Indiana guy on a break. I said, what is going on? Why is everybody going? Without breaking stride, the Indiana staffer goes, oh, it's the men's basketball inter-squad scrimmage today, and just kept walking.
That's sellout. That's sellout. You know this, what it was like going in Assembly Hall and having Bob Knight there. I think of Bob Knight now as I see Indiana and say, boy, Bob Knight, who loved football, who loved Woody Hayes, was very close to Woody Hayes.
Close to him.
Yeah, very close to Paul Segan, very close to Woody Hayes. He would have loved this. I went to Indiana for 5 days with Parcells and Bob Knight, so I know it very well. The biggest ball breakers in the world, the two of them. And, they were like brothers
Yes.
Knight and Parcells were brothers. That's how close they were. And Knight said to me one day, we'd go out to dinner, Knight and I, and Parcells wouldn't come to dinner. He was dieting or something. He wasn't coming to dinner. So we go to dinner, and he takes me above a hardware store to dinner, typical Bob Knight. And
Right.
he says to me something I've never forgot. He goes, never forget this, Walter. And he always called him Walter. He said, Walter understands what it means to be a coach more than any man I've ever met in my life. And I'm like, what a compliment. Imagine getting a compliment like that from Bob Knight.
That's unbelievable. That's off the charts right there. And you mentioned Cignetti and what he's doing there. You mentioned the father, Frank Cignetti.
Yeah, from West Virginia, sure.
And you remember he took over for Bobby Bowden at West Virginia.
Yep.
He made his bones at IUP, would put him in the College Football Hall of Fame. There's another brother who's an NFL head coach, assistant coach.
Yep.
And this Cignetti, Pitt with Johnny Majors, Alabama with Nick Saban, places in between, all the lessons absorbed and put out there. And when you watch and what you see, and you did mention we don't have the so-called blue bloods playing, but what did we get? We got Indiana beating Ohio State in the Big Ten title game. We got Ole Miss beating Georgia in the Sugar Bowl game. Yep. We've had the bigs there, but these people have taken their measure and moved on
and whipped them, and then they kill Alabama in the Rose Bowl.
But they did Alabama. I played the SEC.
Yep.
You can imagine watching that game, thinking, "Oh my goodness,
killed Alabama."
Dismantling an Alabama team that we thought had gotten their mojo back because of what they had done against Oklahoma the week before. But Indiana showed why they're the number one team. No ifs, ands, and buts. And let's not forget, they went to Oregon earlier this year, won at Oregon. This rematch is going to be a heck of a game.
I agree. We're talking with Charles Davis, of course. And, you know, the statement that I gave you about Knight and Parcells, I couldn't believe Cignetti's statement. Cignetti said, I coached 1 year in my life under Saban, and I learned more there in 1 year than I did in 26 years everywhere else. He's the greatest coach in the history of the sport. I was like, whoa. I mean, how about that statement?
Game recognizes game, as you well know, Mike, and a lot has been made of it, but I think it bears one more time. Ole Miss, Pete Golding, defensive coordinator under Saban. Cignetti, already discussed it.
Yep.
And Lanning, where was he a coordinator?
Saban.
There you go. And then you move on and you have the blanket for some reason, the fourth team now. Anyway, 4 times.
Cristobal.
Remember Cristobal?
Sure. Was a great player.
Great player. Won 2 titles at Miami.
Yep.
Worked in Miami. Was under Saban, right? Because I believe that was the FIU and all that. Then he comes on back, Oregon. But he's under Saban at Alabama as an analyst, offensive line coach, the whole deal. 4 coaches, all under his direction, and none of them talking falsely about, well, I was there. No, this is what we learned. This is what we're doing. And how about have them all applying it? Because as you well know, Mike, not every great coach has a great tree.
Oh, that's for sure. Very, and some of the greatest don't. Paul Seguin has no tree.
No tree.
As an example, one of the great coaches of all time, and some of them have amazing trees. And it's unbelievable what you mentioned there, because George Young, the Giant general manager, was going to lead me into the Harbaugh question. George Young tried to hire Nick Saban to be the head coach of the Giants, and he wouldn't come because of his relationship with Belichick.
Right.
And George Young said to me, Saban's going to be a giant in the game. And at this time, he was at Michigan State. That's how long ago it was. And he said to me, Saban's going to be a giant. And I'm like, really? He goes, that's how good he is. And I only knew him as a Belichick assistant. I didn't know anything about him. I knew he was a tough guy. I knew he was a tough guy who chewed out his assistants, chewed out his players. But Parcells always did that. Belichick always did that. So we were used to that. That didn't surprise me. But George Young was that high on Saban. I lead that with Charles Davis, of course, CBS next year, replacing the great Gary Danielson, who has really done an incredible job as a college football voice. Great thing for Charles, who you also listen to. I know you kids do on the Madden game. Harbaugh has his pick of anything. He's going to get paid. We know that. Okay.
Yes.
Money's not an issue. Anybody he wants to bring on his staff won't be an issue. He can go wherever he wants. Does he want Giants and Dart, or does he want something else in your mind?
To me, he's going to want to go where things are still. Mike, we go by past history a lot of time too. Has there been a more stable franchise to work for than Baltimore in the time John Harbaugh's been?
No, never a peep, never a problem.
Ownership.
Yep.
Ozzie Newsome, Hall of Fame general manager.
One of the greats of all time.
Eric DeCosta takes over. Yep. How great a job has he done? Every year when we do our little pithy grading of drafts, we always talk about what a great job the Ravens
do. And they've been snake bit in the playoffs for half a decade. Yeah.
They're there all the time.
Right.
Okay? And when they need to go get a player, their ready list, they'll get this guy. Bam. And they insert him and he plays really well. Look at what Kyle Van Noy's done since he's come to Baltimore.
Yep.
That's just one example. So if you're John Harbaugh, the question I would have for him privately is, how much power do you want to have as a head coach?
I think that's a big key. Will he accept?
You want to be Parcells
will he accept it? Will he accept the general manager, or will he not accept the general manager?
That's it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
And that's the question you're going to have, because
you know him better than I do. I only know him to say hello to. What do you think? You think Harbaugh wants that much power, or you think he'd be happy to come with a young quarter? Now I hear he wants a quarterback, and he's got the quarterback in Dart. He has the quarterback.
He has a quarterback in Dart, and also think of how Baltimore's played over the years. Remember, their key phrase in the organization is what? Play like a Raven.
Yep.
Okay. The defense of the Giants, I know they blew a lot of leads, but the bones that are there, that's something he's used to having in Baltimore. These are things that work for him. Now, what will be very interesting is, as we talked about, what's the power dynamic? Joe Shane stays on as GM.
Yep.
Is John Harbaugh content
to kick him out the door? I don't know. Yep. I don't know. Or is that his style? You know, I know one thing that I buy, and that is Jim said he's not coaching in the AFC because I'm in the AFC. I buy that. I've watched them in the Super Bowl this year. They were both very uncomfortable together when they were in that year in the Super Bowl. They were both very uncomfortable to be there. They did not like the whole thing. They did not like it. Yeah.
They love each other so much.
Yeah. And the father, who was a terrific coach. And the bottom line is they were very uncomfortable. They don't want that again. I can see him being in the NFC. I just don't know if he'll be with the Giants or not. I don't know.
Now, here's the next thing, Mike. He doesn't have to take any of these jobs. That's the best part.
Well, he did say Jim said he would work next year. That's the one thing. He said he would work.
Wow. And that's it. That was an interest, because if you're John, if it doesn't quite feel right, you can sit this process out and wait for the next one, and you'll be just fine. That won't be a problem at all. But if indeed he wants to work, start with the quarterback. To me, this is just me.
Right.
Start with the quarterback before you get to.
I agree with you 100%. Don't have a quarterback issue going in. And he's got one in a bunch of places. Who would be your number two? Which candidate? No, but who would be your number two as a coach, either an experienced coach or a coordinator? Who would be the guy you would look to and say, I like this guy to coach next year. I'd have confidence in this guy next year. Who would be your guy behind Harbaugh? We all know Harbaugh is number one, obviously.
Boy, this is tough, because last year it was Ben Johnson, Vrabel, and then we were going to find out how we fill out the rest.
And they both did a great job.
Both did a fantastic.
And Liam Kona did an incredible job, and he ran the guy out of the job too. And he wouldn't take it otherwise. And he wins 13 games, so he did a great job.
Absolutely. Yeah. I don't know who that second person is. I'm very intrigued by veteran coaches getting a second chance.
You think Stefanski will be good in his next stop?
I think he'll be excellent in his next stop, as long as he has infrastructure. Think of what he's dealt with the entire time he's been in Cleveland.
Chaos.
Yet twice he's been coach of the year. I think Kevin Stefanski would be great. I'm looking at a guy like Steve Spagnuolo getting another opportunity as a head coach with a chance to do things differently than he did in St. Louis when he's with the Rams. But what he has done, learned, observed, he already knows who he wants to bring in to run offense, all those things. But again, if you don't go someplace that you've got a quarterback, it's kind of a losing proposition right from the beginning.
See, I have figured McCarthy to Tennessee for some reason. I've locked that together for like months.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Because he's got the young quarterback. I just see him right temperament for that franchise. Now, I could be wrong. I don't think he's a giant coach, though, McCarthy. I don't think he is. I could see Stefanski. I obviously can see Harbaugh, who I think the Giants covet now. They really want him. I don't know what's going to happen with John. I'm not going to try and predict it because I don't know what's going to happen. If John wants the job, it's his. I just don't know if he wants it. And also, how much control does he want? They already have a GM. That plays into it, no question. All right, let's get to a couple of the games this week. Okay. We're talking with Charles Davis, who's versatile enough, and a lot of guys aren't, to do college and to do NFL. And he's still – will you do both next year? Will you do NFL games or just going to do the college?
Just straight college, get to join Brad Nessler, Jenny Taft.
Yeah, that's a great team. Great team. Yeah.
And try not to screw that up.
You won't screw it up. You'll do a great job, obviously. All right. Rams have lost to Carolina. Stafford only had 11 turnovers all year. He had 3 in that game, including a pick 6. They lost in overtime. Rams have led in the fourth quarter of every game they've lost this year, and they found ways to lose: special teams, blocked field goals, fumbling on the 1-yard line. In every game, I think they could have been as good a team start to finish as any team in the league. Yep. 3 of the games were over 95% chance to win in the fourth quarter, and they didn't win. I think they whip on Carolina. Do you give Carolina and Bryce Young any chance?
I give them a chance. I give them an opportunity. I think they're better than maybe we give them credit for. And here's the other thing, Mike. Carolina, I believe, has twice before won their division, been sub 500, and they won their first playoff game.
Interesting.
So it's one of those.
The secondary has played very well this year. Yes. The secondary has played well.
But here's the thing for me on this one. I just don't see Los Angeles losing to them a second time.
Neither do I.
And I'm also hearing weather is a factor in this game. And for me, Bryce Young, who I absolutely have loved coming out of college, but has not played to the level of number
one. Not a great thrower, not a big man, doesn't push the football.
Bad weather day, all that. He will have a lot to prove in a good weather day. But if it's a bad weather day versus Stafford throwing it, I like the Rams in this.
Stafford could throw it through a monsoon. We know that.
He throw it through the car wash and the ball comes out dry.
Absolutely. He's got that kind of arm, no question. I agree with you there. Packers and Bears. First of all, pure hatred from the coach. I mean, it's rare when you got real hatred. This is real Jimmy Johnson, Buddy Ryan hatred. This is pure hatred at the coaching staff level. They can't stand each other, and there's a lot of rumors about LaFleur leaving.
Right? You never know in this world and in this league. We remember how we talk about Baltimore being pretty stable.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't Green Bay a really stable?
Always. And they always pick the right guy.
They pick the right guy, and the way they change from general managers, the transition has been beyond outstanding.
They're great with their quarterbacks.
They've had quarterbacks every single time. Everything is working well. So the idea that he's leaving, I want to know where you're going, right? But I'm just going to leave it with this. When you mentioned the hatred, the league needs a little bit of this. I
agree. I like that.
I think it's good for everyone when we actually have a true that guy's a villain.
They hate each other.
Team. I love that. The last thing I'll say on that ball game, Green Bay's limping in because of record.
Right. And injuries.
Love didn't play down the stretch. He will play in this one. Chicago has not been great down the stretch. But that game against Green Bay, when they beat them, when Willis had to play most of the way, huge throw from Caleb Williams to DJ Moore, all of that. I think it matches up to be a really excellent football game. Chicago has to get the edge because they're at home, but Chicago has to exercise some demons because over the years, Aaron Rodgers had his way with them in the playoffs and otherwise. Can that change now that he's not there for Green Bay?
Love to Watson's going to be fascinating in that game because Love is a great deep ball thrower. He's the quarterback who can be A+ or D- in this game. And he has got probably a wider range, behind the big two, Josh Allen, who we'll get to, and Stafford. After that, there's a lot of quarterbacks there's a lot of questions about, and guys who have to prove themselves, and some guys who have proved themselves great this year, like May or Sam Darnold. Mm-hmm. Love has probably the biggest range because he has great talent. We know that. And if he goes out and throws for 350, no one's going to be surprised.
You're not going to blink. And here's the thing about him, and you've watched him, Mike. He's been slow out of the gate, And then the second half of the year on through, he's been nails.
And he's been good in the playoffs.
And they really hope that's what they're getting coming off the injury. Because if they are, Green Bay has more than a puncher's chance.
And he throws probably as good a high deep ball as you see anywhere in the league. He throws it as high as anybody throws it in the whole league. It's amazing how high he throws the ball.
You're talking Russell Wilson at his peak.
Yep.
Throwing that moon ball up there.
He does throw it down there like that. Now, now the story of the AFC, and that is, of course, Josh Allen doesn't have Mahomes. He doesn't have Lamar. He doesn't have Burrow. He is the great quarterback in this post. Even Stafford's not in his league.
Right.
Can he carry a flawed Buffalo team on the road in these games? If it's 17-17 late, I got to figure he's going to find a way to win the game. The question is, can the Bills put him in that spot where they let him become Superman in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, he doesn't even need a phone booth. Okay, we know that, right? He just transforms and he does it. My only worry with him, Mike, is Cleveland week 17 hurts his foot.
Yep.
He pitches out the game.
Clearly hurt his foot.
Clearly hurt.
Yep.
Week 18, fortunately, the Jets come to town. They really can't do much with positioning and seeding. He takes the one snap, he goes out. How hurt is that foot?
I don't know.
And can he be the Superman we see, which means being able to take off and go? Because right now, he can't count on his wide receiving core.
He doesn't have great wide receivers. He doesn't have great wide receivers. He just doesn't. Yeah.
Khalil Shakir, who I absolutely love as a slot receiver.
So do I.
He is like third in the league in yards after the catch. But, Mike, do you know what his average yards downfield before the ball gets to him is?
Yeah, nothing.
2.5.
Yep.
That gives you nothing, right?
Yep.
Keon Coleman, who got Josh Allen.
I don't even want him on my team. That guy's
right?
I don't even want him on my team.
Will he even be active in this game?
I wouldn't let him, because here's a guy who's laughing on the sideline when he's not active. I mean, I don't know what's going on in his head.
And you know what's crazy about it is they actually took tape before that draft of like 5 receivers and gave it to Josh. Tell us what you like about these guys, whatever. Keon Coleman was the guy he liked.
Wow.
Now think about what Keon has done to mess that up.
He should have had a chat with him, is what he should have had. He should have had a chat with him, yeah.
I'm guessing he's had chats with him. This is on Keon Coleman.
Terrible. And let's be honest, Cook is probably the most underrated player in the league. The guy's been unbelievable.
Unreal.
Their running game is tremendous, but their defense is not good. They don't have a great wide receiver. Let's be honest, Buffalo's not a great team. He's got to carry Buffalo. Can he carry Buffalo against a Jacksonville team that won 13 games, that has defense, that is tough, that is rugged, that has Trevor Lawrence playing very well, which has a bold, aggressive coach? That's going to be a tough game. It really is.
It's going to be a very tough game, but I'm going against the grain on it, Mike. And I like Buffalo to go to Jacksonville.
So do I. I think it's going to be close late, and Josh is going to find a way to win.
He'll find a way. But I like the overall experience of the Buffalo team, who's been there multiple times. This Jacksonville team is very similar to New England, where it's been a heck of a ride this year. Now, what happens if we meet a team that has experience, that has this, that has that? Meeting Josh Allen in the playoffs, who is tired of being 0-4 on the road. Sean McDermott, a coach who's tired of being 0-5 on the road in the playoffs. I like Buffalo to go to Jacksonville and pull this off.
Do you take more from the young quarterback like May, who's had an incredibly good year?
Yes.
Or would you rather a guy like Purdy, who has had postseason success and has come on late in the year, but had an injury-plagued year? Yep. Do you want a guy who's had some success in the postseason and hasn't had the year May's had? Or do you think May's year takes him to a level where he doesn't need that experience?
I go to May, but here's where I think, Mike, he gets an advantage. We know Kyle Shanahan is as good an offensive schemer as there is.
As good as there is, yes.
All right. Brian Greasy, good quarterback coach. So Purdy's got what he needs. But Drake May getting Josh McDaniels is central casting. It doesn't get better than that. And I'm going to give you the quickest example I can give you. Go back and watch New England at home this year against Atlanta. At one point in the game, Atlanta's pressure was getting to Drake May. Fumble in the pocket, interception. He was leaking oil. Josh McDaniels got him and New England across the finish line with play calling and scheming to get him there without having him throw it downfield because he had lost confidence. Since that game, he has elevated his play.
Yep.
This is a weekend that Josh McDaniels is built for to help this young kid. That's why I'm going with May in this situation. I think May having Josh McDaniels in his corner, this is like Angelo Dundee with Muhammad Ali. You have the right guy there. I think that McDaniels gets May to play at the level we've seen all year long.
And Vrabel will have the right tone with his players.
He's not great one of the top 3 coaches in the league?
Yeah, and he's great. And he's probably better with his players than anybody in the league.
He's unbelievable.
He's great with he still acts like a player, and he thinks like a player.
Mike, he was top 5 in the league before the season even began. And I don't know where you were, but I told everyone week 1, the second half of this season, New England's going to be better, and they're going to finish second in the AFC East behind Buffalo. They're going to be better than Miami. They're going to be better than the Jets. I did not know we were going to get 13 wins. But am I surprised with Mike Vrabel?
No.
No. Because if you go back to Tennessee, those division titles he won, going to an AFC championship game, you remember that roster?
Oh, yeah.
This man can coach. Like, few people can coach in the league. He can coach my team anytime.
He's a really good coach, and he's a better people person. He's great with players. He really is. Niners and Eagles. Niners, brilliant defensively. Purdy has more touch. Purdy's responsible for more TDs since week 11 than anybody in the league, 19. We know how good they are, and we know how good McCaffrey is, Kittles. If Trent Williams out of the lineup, I'm off San Francisco as soon as he's out of the lineup. If he's playing, now they say he's playing. If he doesn't play, 0. I put a hole right through San Francisco. They don't win when he doesn't play. That's all there is to it. And they get Johnson back on the other side. So they're both getting back great linemen. I'll give you that. But they both have been so inconsistent. Niners have no defense against the run. They have no pass rush. Eagles go into these droughts where they go 5 and 6 possessions where they don't even get a first down. And you say, what are they doing? They have not looked like the Eagles, but their defense is good. Fascinating game. I think at home, where the Eagles have not lost in this regime, I figure they find a way. Close game, because I have great respect for the skilled people on San Francisco. But I think Eagles win a close game.
I'm with you totally on that one. I think Fangio does what he has to do on defense, and he does it so well. He can kind of slow the game down on you on the defensive side. And not let you have that explosion that you're looking for. That's one thing, all right? On the flip side, I do have a feeling that Nick Sirianni, Kevin Patullo, his offensive play caller and coordinator,
it's been terrible.
Their heads together.
Right.
Somewhere, Nick Sirianni's dad, who was a great coach up in the Jamestown area in New York, upstate New York.
They're going to explode. Yeah.
Brother, great coach in high school, won state titles. Other brother, great coach in college at Washington Jefferson. I think that the whole family is called, and they channeled their inner Leanne Tui. Run the dang ball.
Yes. Hey, what no offensive coordinator has taken more heat or has been in more trouble all year. And the Eagles have been awful on offense. They have no idea. And I agree with you. Run the ball, put the ball in Barkley's hands, and let Hurts run too. Let Hurts run.
Mike, a team that's coming up a Super Bowl in week 17 at Buffalo had 16 total yards in the second half and 0 yards throwing the football. Those numbers don't even make sense.
No, that team is very, very weird offensively. Plus, I think the Brown thing has made them dysfunctional. I think there's disrespect towards the quarterback. I think they all have disrespect towards the coordinator. It's a weird situation, but they'll come hard to play. You know that. And their defense will come hard to play. And it's hard to win in that stadium. Very hard to win there. It's usually a tough win. This time of year, the fans are really raucous, as everyone knows. It's a hard place to win. Buffalo might get it back to a cover, but I think, New England might get it back to a cover, but I think that the Eagles win, even if the Niners get it back to a cover.
Yeah,
they're 4.5 point underdog. I think that Philly wins.
I do too.
Also think the Chargers, I think Harbaugh did an incredible job just to get to the playoffs. He's lost all his offensive linemen, all his defensive pass rushes, 5 running backs. I mean, the quarterback's been playing with a bloody arm. I don't even know how he made the playoffs. I don't think he wins this game, though.
It's a lot to ask, isn't it?
Yes.
And I think that you're right. I think Jim Harbaugh has done one of the best coaching jobs of his career. And in the privacy of the off season, he will recognize the job that he has done. His
Great
dad,
job. Great job.
His dad, Jack, will let him know this is phenomenal.
I mean, if they had Alton Slater and one running back, they're a whole different team.
Whole different team. I'll just leave it with this. At one point, I was doing a Chargers game with my crew. The left tackle was Austin Deculus. The right tackle was Jamari Salyer. And both battled, fought, did everything they possibly could. Deculus is a backup. Salyer is a guard. And they fight and scratch and claw. I've seen Trey Pipkins play right tackle. I've seen, I saw Bobby Hart start for them in a game this year at offensive tackle. And this team made the playoffs.
Right, and they used 6 running backs you never even heard of. They're sending out there.
And they were getting production and
the quarterback has guts. I know people have been down on him since the playoffs. He played on Monday night with his arm bleeding the entire game. I mean, that was unbelievable.
2 of the most underrated tough guy quarterbacks in the playoffs. One's with the Rams named Matthew Stafford.
Yep.
The others with the Chargers.
I agree.
Named Justin Herbert.
I don't think they have enough firepower. Pats have too much. Now to the next game, which fascinates the heck out of me. The Houston defense against the magic of the Steelers. And let me say this. There's going to come a time in this game. Now, maybe they're going to give Rodgers fits, and maybe they're going to have to keep Gainwell in all the time to chip on the edges. I understand that. But let me say this. There's going to come a time when they're going to be waving those terrible towels, and Haywood and all his buddies on defense are going to be dominating that game, and Houston's not going to be able to know which end is up on getting a first down like they've looked so many times this year where their offense just caves in, like the Kansas City game where it looked like they couldn't even get a first down. I love their defense, all 3 layers of it. I can't stand their offense. Can't stand it. And I think Pittsburgh has a heck of a chance to win.
I'm with you totally on that. And here's why from my perspective. If this game becomes anything close to an open field track meet type game, I like Houston.
Oh, forget it.
Okay. Yeah. If Nico Collins, who reminds me of justifying the triple,
if he's getting down the field, forget it.
He's downfield and he's dominating Joey Porter, who I expect to match up with him. If he's doing that, you got problems all day long. But if Pittsburgh does what they do really well, which is make this game much more of a mosh pit, and if it is a mosh pit and Jaylen Warren is on the field staying in and blocking for Rodgers and the ball's out of his hands quickly, DK Metcalf is back now. So here are some downfield plays.
Absolutely.
And shots. Now you've got your opportunity. But if they can hold that pass rush somewhat at bay, right? If he doesn't get hit like Josh Allen got hit, then I think Pittsburgh has a lot of reasons. And Mike, I'm going to leave the last one. You ready? Houston always plays the Houston Invitational in the playoffs, don't they?
Yes.
Saturday, first game, 4:30.
Yep.
The first time
they don't draw. If they don't draw. Carolina gets it, they get it. That's all there is to it. Yes.
This time they're out of it. They're on the road. But
Monday night in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, where Pittsburgh never loses in prime time. Last week, the game's over. The game's over. The rookie misses the field goal. He misses the field goal. This playing
that age to get to Monday night instead of having to play Saturday or Sunday. That was a huge win for the Pittsburgh Steelers to get to Monday night and get extra rest.
Tomlin, Aaron Rodgers, Haywood, waving the terrible towels. Pittsburgh expects to win that game. They expect to find a way to win it. And I'll tell you something, watching Haywood play is just unbelievable. The way he can dominate in a box, seeing a guy who's a rare 2-gapper going out there and playing that way, it's like old-time 70s NFL football. He was so good the other night, it was unreal.
The last thing I'll say for this on Pittsburgh, their fans have been so, hey, if I hear one more time, we haven't had a losing record in 20 years. If I hear one more time, here's the issue. They have not won a playoff game since 2016.
They need a playoff win badly.
Last 3 playoff games, they've gotten jumped on and blown out. I think that ends Monday. I'm not disrespecting Houston. I just feel like the things are aligning for Pittsburgh, and Mike T, Coach Tomlin and crew, they find a way. They coach their hearts out. They play their hearts out. They find a way to get that playoff win at home on Monday night against a Houston team that in neutral site, you like Houston.
Hey, that game's tied, Charles. That game's tied with 4 minutes left. 17-17, 19-19. Aaron Rodgers has got the ball. You know what? Underneath the Gainwell, underneath the Warren, Freiermuth down the lane, right down the seam. Even Thielen in a big spot. Give Thielen the ball, he'll catch it. He had 3 huge catches, one over his shoulder with 2 guys on him. Then the 9-yarder on the last scoring drive, which was a huge catch. He will catch the ball, just getting him. Metcalf back. Aaron Rodgers can still throw 5 or 6 of the prettiest passes you've ever seen. And you know what? It's not some bum quarterback. It's Aaron Rodgers. You know what? And I think that makes a difference in this game down the stretch. I can't wait. That's my favorite game of the entire weekend, is that game.
Well, I'll be on the couch from Saturday, from Sunday. I don't know if I'll even move until Monday night.
It's a great weekend.
We're waiting for that ball game. As long as this thing doesn't turn into a track meet and an open field game. And look, this is where it comes back to CJ Stroud and Nick Caley, the brand new offensive coordinator for Houston.
And he's looked terrible this year.
Can they turn this into an open field thing? Can Higgins and Noel, who they drafted this year, make more plays for them? You know, Schultz has been terrific at tight end.
And great.
Offensive line, they thought they had stability, but they had a couple of injuries again down the stretch.
Yep.
What's going to happen there? I think what DeMeco Ryans has done this year has been extraordinary.
And I'll tell you, Mills turned that season around.
The
win against Jacksonville and his winning streak, which got Stroud off the bench because he was worried he was going to lose his job. And you know what? Mills saved that season for them.
3-0.
Yep.
He's 3-0. And he won 2 really big-time ball games. One
big game against Jacksonville, too, for a comeback.
Jacksonville. Those were massive games to win. And the defense, yes, they came through. But Mills played well. Mills threw for almost 300 yards against Jacksonville.
Mills availed himself well. No one has done what Malik Willis has done. Malik Willis, I like to be his agent this season. He's going to make plenty of cash. He really is.
Tell him I'll take 1% instead of 3.
Charles, good to talk to you. Congratulations with the college football. Enjoyed it. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Mike. You take care of yourself.
Pleasure. Thank you. Charles Davis, CBS Sports, who next year goes to college football and replaces the legendary Gary Danielson, and he will do a terrific job doing that.